Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and this is Raspberry Reads. I'm coming to you today with my April wrap-up. I read 7 books in April and it's kind of a mixed bag, to be honest. Yeah, some of the books I was a little bit disappointed with, and others I was pleasantly surprised. So yeah, without any waffling, let's just get into it. So the first book that I finished in April was Clear by Davies, and the narrator was Russ Bain. And I did enjoy this book, although I think it wasn't until I watched a video by, I can't remember her name now, but Scally. I'll have to put their channel down below. I can't remember who it was, but it was 2 women who were discussing this book. And I really appreciated their perspective because it allowed me to kind of think about why I had such mixed feelings about Clear. Firstly, I should say that I did like the writing for the most part, so I would read more by Carys Davies. I also really did like the narration by Russ Bain. Clear is historical fiction. It's a very short book. It was only a 3-hour audiobook. Yeah, so it's historical fiction set in the 1840s, and it's all about the Scottish clearances. And it centers on a man named John, who I think is a priest, or at least associated with the church in some way, his wife Mary, and they are set, John is set or tasked to go up to this really remote island to tell the tenant there, whose name is Ivor, that he has to clear off, because this is all about the Scottish clearances, which is was the time where landowners were removing long-standing tenants from the land to put in sheep and other things. So yes, John goes to this remote island, I think it was in the Hebrides or somewhere thereabouts, and has an accident, which isn't spoiling it. He has an accident and Ivor ends up finding him and nursing him back to health. It was an interesting book in that sense. Ivor has a very interesting dialect, so there was a theme of like a lost in translation aspect where they couldn't communicate very well with each other. Yeah, I appreciated reading or listening to a story about the Scottish clearances. I just didn't connect with the characters. I will say that the ending was a little bit odd, or out of place, let's say, from the rest of the story, but still was okay nonetheless. So yeah, I hope it's coming across that it was kind of a mixed bag for me. So I gave Clear 3 stars. I wouldn't not recommend it, and I wouldn't go out of my way to recommend it. It just was. Next up was The Maiden by Kate Foster, and The Maiden was recommended to me from watching one of Ellen's books at Ellen Made Book Club. So thank you, Ellen. I really enjoyed The Maiden. It was a little bit more not Harlequin romance, but a little bit more like risque than I originally thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be, yeah, not like highbrow historical fiction, because it is very well researched and written, but it definitely had essence of romantasy, or it's not romantasy, romance in it. But nonetheless, I gave The Maiden 4 stars. So, oh, and I should say that there were several narrators, all who did an okay job. So this book is historical fiction. It's set in the late 1600s in Edinburgh, and it follows Lady Christian, who ends up having a lover, and then finds herself facing the guillotine, and it's sort of like going back in time to understand how that came to be. And there is a mistress who's the other narrator, because there's multiple points of view in this book, and it goes back and forth between Lady Christian and I can't even remember her name now, but the mistress. And she, I really liked her as a character, and the person who narrated her did a great job. She had a fantastic Scottish accent. So yeah, that was good fun to listen to. And if you like historical fiction that's not too serious, then I would recommend listening to The Maiden. Although I say not serious, but it is quite sad because this is based on loosely on actual events. Okay, number 3 was Dust by Hugh Howey. So I finally finished the Omnibus trilogy, which is Wool, Shift, and Dust. I gave Dust itself 4 stars. I felt that the last book dragged just a little bit, and it could have come to a punchier conclusion maybe, but I did like the ending. It sort of wrapped it up quite nicely. But yes, it did drag, and for that reason it was 4 stars instead of 5 stars. But this whole universe is basically about a world where there are underground silos where people inhabit. So it's dystopian in that sense. And as you go through the trilogy, you find out, what are the silos? Why were they initially built? And then Dust looks at why were they really built, and how the inhabitants come to terms with that. And yeah, so if you like sci-fi, then I 100% recommend this series. It's fantastic. Overall, the Omnibus trilogy is 5 stars for me. It's one of the best bits of sci-fi I've ever read. So yeah, I'm a bit sad that it's over now. But if you have read Wool, Shift, and Dust, and you are a connoisseur of sci-fi, do you have any recommendations for me of either standalones or trilogies that are similar that you think I should try next? Let me know. Next up was our book club pick for this month, which is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This was a bit of a different pick for our book club. We tend to go for either classics or historical fiction, that type of thing. We've never read a sort of psychological thriller before. And we had our chat about it last night from when I'm recording this, and we all, for the most part, really enjoyed this. I like Lisa Jewell books. I find them gripping. It's not the best writing that I've ever come across, but I enjoyed the ride with this one. And this is about 2 women who are birthday twins. One is a podcaster, the other one is a mother with sort of a dark past, and how they end up connecting and the disasters that happen as a consequence of their relationship. So that was that one. The only thing I'll say with this, and it's not my version, but we were discussing in book club that some of the editions of None of This Is True have a bonus chapter in them, and this one doesn't, this version. And my colleague sent me the bonus chapter, and I will say that absolutely ruins the book. So if you want to read this book by Lisa Jewell, then I would recommend skipping the bonus chapter, which was published later. It doesn't add anything to the story. So yep, that was None of This Is True. Moving on, we have, I think, potentially my first DNF of the year where I've given it due consideration. And this is Why Women Grow, Stories of Soil, Sisterhood, and Survival by Alice Vincent. I gave this a really good go, partly because I love gardening. I love reading about women's experiences, and I bought this book new, so I was invested financially as well, and I ended up DNFing it at around 50%. I just didn't get it. I didn't connect with any of the stories. Basically, Alice Vincent's a journalist. She was going around England, possibly Great Britain, yeah, at least England, and interviewing women on why they started their gardens. And as the subtitle suggests, it's a lot about sort of their experiences as women, whether that's from like abuse situations, infertility, yeah, all sorts of different stories. And they were all really interesting. I didn't like the writing style, and I found the book in general very self-serving. It kept going back to Alice Vincent's personal narrative, and that just doesn't do it for me generally. So yes, I am DNFing Why Women Grow, and I will pass it on to somebody else who might like it better. Number 6 was My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, and it's a translated work by Anne Goldstein, and I listened to it on audiobook, and the narrator was Hilary Huber. This was another book where I'd heard so much hype about it, and I thought, okay, this sounds like something that I would really enjoy. It's historical fiction, female-focused, set in Naples, Italy in the 1950s, and it's all about sort of like a coming of age story, and it focuses on Elena and Layla, and these two girls who are friends. And beyond that, I just didn't get the point. I mean, it was interesting enough, but I didn't connect with the characters, is just how I could sort of summarize it. I did finish it, and it's set in the 1950s, so it's a lot about sort of gender roles and expectations. I think Lila's family works as cobblers, as shoemakers. Elena goes off to study at university, but yeah, I just sort of finished it, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm done now. So I gave it 3 stars, and I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend My Brilliant Friend to anybody. It's a part of a series as well, and I won't be continuing with the series. So if you've read My Brilliant Friend and you really enjoy it, then what are some of the things that you liked specifically about the book that perhaps I'm overlooking? Please share below. And then the last book that I listened to, I think I've done these slightly out of order, is I listened to Things We Lost in the Fire by Mariana Enriquez. And this was a really different pick for me. So I'd seen this around Book Talk and BookTube. And then Jean's thoughts mentioned that she'd recently enjoyed it. And frankly, it was just available on Libby at a time where I needed something to listen to, and I thought, why not? I liked that I read a translated work. I think that it was interesting to read about a different culture, and particularly this is a collection of short stories, which I have said before that I have mixed feelings about short stories because I can never remember them all. But I did like the stories for most part. There was one about a woman who is very invested in a homeless boy who lives outside her apartment, and I can't remember where this is set. I feel like it's, I want to say Venezuela, but I don't think that's right. Maybe I'll put it on the screen where it's set, because now I'm getting confused and I can't remember what part of Central or South America it's set in. But this genre is contemporary Gothic, which is a genre that I never read. I don't read horror, and it was definitely horrifying, some of the elements, like ghost elements and really just dark content. There was one in particular about a sort of like a house where a child disappears. I found that one quite disturbing. And then others, I can't remember at all what they're about. So yeah, the narrator was Tanya Eby, and it was really interesting to listen to, and so it was just a solid 3 stars for me. If you enjoy reading translated fiction, especially if you like reading horror or sort of Gothic classics, then I would recommend trying it out. So yep, 7 books for April. Not my best reading month, but not the worst. I've got quite a few books on the go. I'm still working on the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. We'll be doing another book for book club through May, but I don't know what book that will be yet. And what else do I have going on? I'm listening to The Binding by Bridget Collins, and I think that is a great book to listen to on audiobook. So I'll wrap that up when I'm finished. And I'm still making my way through Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut, which is such a bizarre book. Yeah, those are all the ones that I can sort of think of right now. But yeah, so I'll just leave it there for today. So if you've read any of these books, then please put your comments down below. What did you read in April? Did you have any sort of super winners or some disappointments? Always interested to hear. And that just leaves me to say that I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is that you're reading. I hope you have a good reading month in May. And I will see you soon in a new video. Take care. Bye.